Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be London versus New York City. Now, I was actually born in New York in the Bronx, but I grew up in Ireland. And then when I turned 21, I moved back to New York. I lived there for like 2 years and then came to London, and I've been in London about 3 years now. And I've definitely noticed some differences between the two cities. So we're going to get into this video and find out which one I think is best. Let's get started. Alright, so first up is the housing. Now, I actually don't find a massive difference between renting in London and renting in New York in terms of price. They're both like stupidly expensive. The one massive difference, however, is a washing machine. So if you have a washing machine in New York City, that is seen as like a massive, massive luxury, whereas any kind of flat in not just London but the whole of the UK, it's sort of a given that you will have a washing machine. So for this one, I'm actually going to say a tie, just because I actually couldn't decide. It's like saying which parent you prefer, which sibling you prefer. So for this one, on the housing, I'm going to say it's a tie. Tube versus the subway. Tube's really efficient. You never have to wait more than 4 minutes for a train. Every platform has a digital board to show you how long you have to wait for your train. Pretty much every stop has Wi-Fi, and they're definitely cleaner than New York City. For this subway, the trains are definitely less regular. On my last trip to New York, myself and my friend had to wait like 18 minutes for a train. Not every stop has a digital board, so you can't really tell how long you're going to be waiting. However, all the trains are fully air conditioned, which is a massive, massive bonus. If you've ever taken the Central line in the peak of summer, you'll understand. The subway is much cheaper than the tube, and they don't have any zones, so you can ride into all of the boroughs all day and night, and it's not going to cost you any more. Another thing to mention is that on the London Underground, if you're pregnant, you can actually get a badge that you will wear, which lets people know to offer you a seat. Now, they don't have this in New York. Personally, I just don't think they need any of this. Having lived in New York, anytime I've seen this kind of situation arise on a train, people just get up anyway. It's just like the decent human thing to do. So for this transport round, my vote has to go to the New York subway. Yes, it is slower, but it is fully air conditioned. It runs all day and night. It is so much easier to get to places like the airport because you can get it any time of night, and it's much, much cheaper. So New York gets my vote on this one. Okay, so for the most part, this will obviously depend on your job and your company, but in my experience, the work-life balance in the UK, like not just London, the whole of the UK, is 100 times better. So New York's a city that never sleeps, which in turn means its employees never sleep either. In the UK, all employees are entitled to 28 days paid annual leave, and this includes bank holidays. But with some companies, you can actually get more days than this. In New York City, you are entitled to 11 days paid vacation. Like that's insane to me. For obvious reasons, my vote on this one goes to London. Londoners are passive aggressive and New Yorkers are aggressive.
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
I've made friends in both cities, like lifelong friends in both cities. However, I must admit it was much easier to make friends in New York City than it was in London. I just feel like the people there are much more open and friendly, whereas in London people are just a bit more subdued. They are lovely, it just takes a bit longer to get to know them. Oh, another thing I must mention, if you are a woman in New York, you will get hit on. It doesn't matter if you look like Shrek. It doesn't matter if you are covered head to toe in bin bags. Men will comment and whistle and roll down their car windows in moving traffic just to say,
"Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, that's gonna happen, so be prepared. Okay, so I am sorry, London, but on this one, I gotta give my vote to New York. New Yorkers have a reputation for being unfriendly, and I completely disagree. I honestly have met some of the nicest, most generous, fabulous people, so my vote's going to New York on this one. I still love you though, all my London people. London is actually made up of 62% green space versus New York's meager 14%. So London's obviously got amazing parks like Hyde Park hosting loads of festivals throughout the year, and also if you go to Richmond Park you'll more than likely see a deer walking about. But then on the other hand, New York has like the world famous Central Park, which is just amazing to visit in any season of the year. And they've also got the Chelsea High Line, it's like such a peaceful oasis above the streets. This one is a tough call, but I'm gonna have to say London on this one because I love the fact that I don't need to take a train to go to green space where I am. Differences I found is portion size. Everything in New York, everywhere you go, is massive portions. Also, this is really random, but I do have to throw it in there. The bread in New York, and I don't mean like rolls and baguettes, I'm talking about like a sliced loaf of bread that you would buy in a bodega. That bread is so weird. It's like sweet and almost like it's almost sponge cake like. I don't understand why they put so much sugar in it. New York has a bigger and better street food scene. There's street carts on every single corner of the city. Also, another thing I noticed is New Yorkers don't really cook. Everybody kind of dines out all the time or eats out. It's such a huge part of the culture, having the food there. Whereas over here in London and like the UK in general, we tend to not eat out every night of the week. It's kind of a treat to eat out or get a takeout. The service in New York restaurants is 1,000 times better than anywhere you will find in the UK. But there is a reason for this. Obviously, all waiters and waitresses rely on tips to pay their bills, so they're being nice to you for that reason. But either way, I don't care. I like good service. So on this one, for food and service and variety, New York gets my vote, hands down. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. I actually think Londoners are far more fashionable than New Yorkers. Sorry, but I think it's true. When I first moved to New York, I expected everybody to be like super trendy and fashionable, just kind of like the way they are in Sex and the City, but it just wasn't the case. I think New Yorkers prefer to be more comfortable because obviously there's so much walking that you do, and that's fair enough. Something I also find a little annoying about like not just New York but the US in general is that you don't put the tax on the price tag. It's added up when you get to the till. So I just find it easier the way that we do it over here, where you know what you're going to pay because it's just already on the tag. I actually think the clothes over here, they're cheaper and there is much more selection, if I'm honest with you. So for this category, my vote's going to London. I love both cities. I don't know how to put this. I have more of a connection. I feel like I fit in more in New York than I do in London. But that being said, I find London a much more livable city. My heart belongs in New York and my head belongs in London. That's the only way I can describe it. So I guess it's a tie. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Bye. God, I love New York.